What's going on, everybody? I hope you all enjoyed your Saturday, and, well, I got nothing else to say. My season is over. I'm done. Finished. Finito. We're done. The Brooklyn Nets their 2022-2023 NBA season is at a finality. After we lost our game today by the final score of 96-88, we did not score 100 points at all. Again. In fact, I don't think we scored 100 points except one time in this entire series. And the Brooklyn Nets have officially been swept 4-0. I mean, the Nets absolutely were just beyond abysmal today. Absolutely beyond abysmal. All over the court. The two guys that needed to step up today actually played well. I said Dinwiddie and Claxton needed to play better in this series. And you know what? For the two last games, they played better. Were they great? Absolutely not. Did they play better? Yeah, they did. I mean, Dinwiddie had 20 points and 6 assists. Claxton had a double-double, 19 points, 12 rebounds. Obviously, Joel Embiid didn't play, so that had a big factor in the whole thing. Bridges had a bad game. Let's just be honest. Bridges made most of his shots at the end when they were pretty much in garbage time. Cam Johnson had 11 points and 10 rebounds, but it was the quietest 11 points and 10 rebounds you could ever see. And once again, this bench did jack. The bench did jack. They did nothing. The bench was awful again. Man, you look at these numbers. Royce O'Neal, 3 points, 1 of 5. 1 of 6. Joe Harris, 1 of 5. Seth Curry actually was hitting a shot. He just didn't get enough play. Patty Mills even came in, missed 2 shots. Dorian Finney-Smith, 8 points. The Nets just don't have enough offense. And it once again reared its ugly head tonight in this game. And the Brooklyn Nets are done. Just like that. Brooklyn Nets are done. The season is over. Finale, kaput, finito. We're finished. There's no constant contributions from this team. Tobias Harris, who absolutely destroyed the Nets this entire series, had 25 points. James Harden was shooting James Harden had an off-night shooting, and he still had 17. Tyrese Maxey had an off-night shooting. He had 16. Paul Reed had a double-double. Tobias Harris had a 12 rebounds and 25 points. The bench. D'Anthony Melton scored 15 off the bench. He scored 15 points off the bench. He had more points individually than the entire Nets did off the bench. D'Anthony Melton by himself outscored the entire Nets bench. If that's not brutal enough, I don't know what is. I mean, you can't make it up. You cannot make it up in this whole situation. I know people are probably wanting to hear me rant and scream and yell, but I'm just a beaten down Nets fan, honestly. I get it. We weren't ready. We were a team that had too many young players, everything that happened to us. It's still not fun when your team gets embarrassed and loses. It gets swept again for the second straight year. This is 2 years in a row the Nets have been swept in the first round of the playoffs. I mean, I don't know what kind of changes this team is going to do, but we definitely need to do something. And honestly, I don't blame Jacques Vaughn as much. I would let go of Sean Marks as the general manager, but I know the Nets won't do that, because if they do that, they're going to make Jacques Vaughn a lame duck coach. And plus, I believe the owner is a big fan of Sean Marks and his play. So I don't believe that they're going to do that. But either way, it wasn't really a humbling experience, but this was difficult to deal with. It really is. I'm just frustrated because it's just another year of potential high expectations. At the beginning of the season with Durant and Irving, that was just nothing more than just another year of, drama, nonsense, injuries, suspensions, major trades, and then expectations at the end, and we go out meekly in the first round. We're the first team to get eliminated in this playoffs. Nobody got eliminated yet. The first one to get eliminated is the Brooklyn Nets. We're dead. We're done. We're finished. Finito. Goodbye. Sayonara. See you later. Goodbye. The Nets got out-rebounded by a lot, 54-38. And to be honest, one of the first things that this Nets team needs to do in the offseason is they need to get themselves rebounding. They need to get themselves some size. They need to get themselves some low post presence. They need to get somebody that is going to be a tall guy that can bang bodies. I don't care. Pause, no pause. Near down low and try to go out there and try to get themselves some more size in the front court. It's pretty obvious the Nets are one of the worst rebounding teams in the NBA. In fact, for a while they were the worst rebounding team in the NBA for a long time. And this team just self-destructed when we didn't need them to do it. They just could not rebound and they could not make shots. Their offense took a major hit too. I like Mikal Bridges. I think Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, as well as Nicolas Claxton, are the future of this basketball team. But to be honest, neither one of these guys are number one options. I think Claxton, for the most part, had a terrific season. Claxton had a very good season overall. I do believe he played great. But he's a guy that needs to... I think Claxton is not that prototypical center that you need. Claxton might be a great power forward. He's a good player, but I don't know if he can handle being a center against some of these other elite centers in the NBA. But I mean, it was a humbling experience for the Nets, just to say the least. I don't want to give you any, scores. I'm not going to give you any stats. The Nets just were not good enough. They ran into a team that was clearly a hell of a lot better than them, and that team took them behind the woodshed, and they beat their ass. Plain and simple. The Nets have a lot of decisions to make in the offseason, starting with Cam Johnson, who is scheduled to be a restricted free agent this offseason. Do you go out there and try to pay up Cam Johnson the type of money he's looking for? Do you believe that Cam Johnson is a key player on this team going forward? What do you do with Mikal Bridges? Do you give him the type of money he might be looking for? Do you try to give a new contract to Nicolas Claxton? What do you do with the veterans on this team? Seth Curry is scheduled to be a free agent. Ben Simmons, who is going to be coming back next year if they don't trade him. He's coming off 2 bad years. What do you do with Joe Harris? He had a miserable series. Royce O'Neal had a miserable series. What do you do with Patty Mills? What do you do with Yuta Watanabe? Edmund Sumner? What do you do with these veterans on this team? What do you do with the young guys like Cam Thomas, Day'Ron Sharpe, and David Duke Jr.? What do you do with those players? Are you looking at them as potentially being pieces on this team going forward? Or do you plan on cutting them afterwards? What are you going to do? Let's have a lot of questions to ask. Also, what are you going to do with your general manager? Is Sean Marks a 100% lock to be back next year after the way the Nets performed at the end of the season? Is your head coach truly the answer? I know they gave Jacques Vaughn that extension. Seriously. I don't know. I don't know what direction this basketball team is going to go after this miserable ending to this season. That's exactly what it was. It's miserable. With the expectations this team had at the beginning of the season and to go out the way they did. Now, I know it was a different team, but still, you don't ever want to go out the way this team did. And they went out with a whimper. And you have to wonder now what is next for the Brooklyn Nets going into 2023, 2024. What type of moves are they going to make? What are they going to do in the draft? What is the direction of this basketball team? That's the number one thing I want to know. What is the direction with the Brooklyn Nets? What is your plan? Like, what is the plan with this team? Are you going to go out there and you're going to get yourself some quality players, get yourself some more size? Are you going to get some more front court help? I mean, I really don't even know what to think with this team right now. I don't. That's the problem, is that the Nets have a lot of players that are tied into contracts with this team right now. And it's like, what kind of direction, what moves are you going to make to try to improve this basketball team? Are you going to trade Ben Simmons? Are you going to trade Dorian Finney-Smith? Are you going to trade Royce O'Neal? Are you going to trade Spencer Dinwiddie? You going to trade Joe Harris? You going to let Seth Curry go? You going to get rid of Yuta Watanabe and Edmund Sumner? What's the direction this basketball team is going to go in this offseason? Are you going to dangle Cam Thomas and Day'Ron Sharpe? Because I don't know if they believe these two guys are the future of this team. Because if they were, they'd be playing. And both of them did not play in Game 4. Neither one of them played. Nets try to dust off Patty Mills, who gave them nothing. The bench, to me, the biggest two issues with this basketball team is A, the size and rebounding, and B, the bench. I think they have some decent players in the starting lineup. I just think they don't have a bench, and I don't think they don't have size on this team. You could argue also this team lacks right now in terms of superstar. They don't have a number one guy. Bridges, Johnson, Claxton, Dinwiddie, they're good players. Some of them very good players. I think Bridges is emerging into a superstar, even though he tailed off in this game yet today. But they don't have that true number one superstar on this roster that when you give him the ball, you're going to trust in him that he's going to go out there and make the plays to win the games for this team. That's the one thing I believe the Nets don't have, is a true number one superstar on this roster. And I think that's one of the things that set them back in this game. And it's something that set them back towards the end of the season after they made the trades. There's going to be a lot to really think about with this team. And I know you might think I'm spinning in circles right now, but you have to bear with me. My team just got eliminated. My team has gone through arguably one of the most tumultuous seasons any sports fan could ever deal with this team. And I'm just trying to think of what is the next direction for this team going forward. Because I don't know. I mean, honestly, if it was up to me, I think Sean Marks should be fired. Because he's the one that sort of orchestrated and put this team in the position that they're in right now. But I know the Nets are not going to do that. I know the owner likes the general manager. And also I know the fact that he likes the coach. And you don't want to put your coach, who you just gave an extension to, put him in a position where he's a lame duck coach. Right after he signs an extension. Nets just weren't ready. They went up against a Philadelphia 76ers team that's just a lot better than them. And the Nets are going to have to try to find a way now to regroup and try to see what they can do in the offseason. So I'm sorry if you're looking for a rant, yelling, any of that kind of stuff. I'm just too beaten down as a Nets fan to really do that. This was very difficult to deal with. And once again, for the second straight season, the Nets have gotten swept in the first round of the playoffs. We'll have to wait and see what the Nets are going to do this offseason, but there's going to be changes. There's going to be upgrades. There's going to be moves, draft picks. The Nets are in a position right now where they might have to retool instead of rebuild. But we'll wait and see. That's my BKN Game Recap. The Nets season has come to an end. Lose by the final score. Who even cares about the final score at this point? The Nets lost. That's all I care about. The Nets lost. Who cares about the final score at this point? They're out. They're eliminated. They're done. Finito. Finished. Exiled. Out of here. It was a tough season, Brooklyn. Let's see what we can do in 2023, 2024, and what the Nets have cooking in the offseason. Nets offseason starts now. April 22nd, 2023, the Nets offseason officially begins. And we're going to evaluate this roster to see what we're going to do next. But hit that like button if you haven't already, and give a sub to NYGJeffyT85. More news, updates, chatter, and game recaps around the Brooklyn Nets. Turn on the bell for notifications of the next video or short dropping on the channel surrounding the Brooklyn Nets. And you guys let me know in the comment section what you thought about today's Nets loss and season-ending loss. Your evaluation of this series and of the team. And you could let me know in the comment section what you want to see this team do in the offseason. And state of the Nets as their season comes to an end today. Thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Take it easy, and let's go Brooklyn Nets for the final time in the regular season and postseason this year. It's a Nets world, and we're all just living in it.